I'm David Blackburn, and we're at Tuckerman Brewing Company in Conway, New Hampshire. Tuckerman's is known for our pale ale, our alt, and most recently our stout. And what I'm doing now is forcing the wort, the sweetened liquid, down through the bottom of the vessel by pushing water through the top. Creates a little bit of a grain bed to filter out the sweet liquid from the husks and which all stays into this vessel. Now, forcing the water down and bringing the wort over to the kettle is exactly what we're trying to get, the sugary liquids that the yeast metabolizes to create the alcohol. So what I'm brewing here is our most well-known beer of our production, which is the pale ale. And the wort is transferring over into the kettle, and just recently I added a bit of hops to it, and I'm slowly bringing this to a boil. And basically the boil sanitizes bacteria and whatnot, and gets the wort and the hops to combine, and it's the last stage before the fermentation.
Some of the things that differentiate Tuckerman beers from other beers are we have a process of bottle conditioning called krausening that we do that most breweries wouldn't bother with because it's a constant coordination between your brew days and your bottling days. What most breweries do is what's called forced carbonation, where they inject CO2 into the liquid, and that way as soon as the beer is in the bottle or keg, it's ready to drink and ship out. But we like to use this German process of bottle conditioning where we add a little bit of fermenting beer to the finished beer, and it causes a secondary fermentation inside the package. And as a byproduct of that process, CO2 is created, but it can't escape the package, so it goes into the liquid, and then we get carbonated beer. So these are some of the basic ingredients we use in making the beer. The little cups here are filled with different types of malted barley, where you have everything from a light roast to a dark roast, and then a few variations in between. This here is actually malted rye, and we use a little bit of that in our dark beers to give the beer a little extra flavor and body. And then in the green cups here, these are different types of hops that we use. This is a pelletized version, and then these are whole leaf hops. But if you take one of these hop cones and you crush it between your fingers, a little bit of those oils will come off, and then if you smell that, it gives you an idea of the great aroma that hops add to beer. Another process that differentiates us from other breweries is a process of cold conditioning that's called lagering. And we use horizontal conditioning tanks that are called lagering tanks. And most breweries would just ferment the beer and then go straight to the bottling line. But for us, we find that by cold conditioning the beer in horizontal conditioning tanks at 40 degrees, it allows the beer to mature and get rid of some of the off flavors from fermentation. And it also allows us to do a process called dry hopping, where we put fresh hops into the tanks with the beer and let them sit in contact with each other for at least a week for the pale ale and the head wall, and up to 3 months for the stout. So the lagering process really allows it to pick up some extra hop flavors as well.
Perfect.